For more information on today's program, contact Erica Taylor Montgomery at threegirlsmedia.com. Now, back to Punch, Media and Marketing Made Easy on the Bay Area's business leader, AM 1220 KDOW.
Welcome back to Punch, Media and Marketing Made Easy on 1220 AM KDOW, where we help you deliver that total knockout with your marketing, your social media, your PR, and so much more. Our topic in round 2 today is Online Marketing 101, and our guest is Gail Rosenberg with Web and Retail. You can find her at webnretail.net. That's webnretail.net. So, Gail, before the break, you'd mentioned several different things that our listeners can do to expand their brand online and do some online marketing. And one of those things was marketing your website by posting on forum sites. And I think that's something that really our listeners don't know anything about. So maybe you could explain that.
Okay. There are hundreds, if not, 100,000 million forums out there. Forums are places where people interact, obviously on the internet, not by voice. And there are so many topics. There's always going to be a topic that's going to apply to your product or your service. And in order to find those forums, you're going to type into Google forums. Let's say you're an educator in Los Angeles. You're going to type in forums about education in Los Angeles. And there's going to be forums that come up. There's also going to be people's blogs. You cannot post on somebody's blog. You have to email something to them and or interact with them in an old-fashioned way in hopes that they will pick up your information and share it on their blog. What you're looking for is forums where you can register, and you do need to register in order to post. Then you're going to look for a discussion that's very specifically to the point of what you're going to discuss or what you want to discuss, or you're going to join into a discussion that is already going on about your topic. In order to do that, you need to register. They'll probably send you a link that you need to validate, and in some cases you have to be on the forum, maybe having been there done 5 posts before you can put a link in. And the one thing you have to be very careful about, and this happened just yesterday, you have to be very, very careful that you post in the appropriate discussion arena and that you're not blatantly advertising a product.
So you really want this to be more of a conversation and a less direct way of absolutely selling a product or service. It's more becoming known by participating in discussion groups in these forums. So over time, people can start to understand what it is you do and what your business is about. But it's not a direct way to sell your company. Is that right?
Exactly. And if you are perceived as posting an advertisement, you're either going to be removed, your post will be removed by the moderator, or as in a case that I read about yesterday, a bunch of angry comments from people saying, oh, that person's spamming, or that's a blatant advertisement, or this doesn't belong in this forum, so on and so forth. So it can backfire on you if you don't go into it with the right attitude.
All right, perfect. If you have questions about online marketing, you can call us live this morning at 800-516-1220. That's 800-516-1220. Toll free to reach us here at 1220 AM KDOW, the Wall Street Business Network. And let's talk a little bit, Gail, about book sharing services, because I think that this is also, or bookmark sharing services, because I think this is also something that our listeners really know very little about. So maybe you can talk about bookmark sharing services for a bit.
Absolutely. Bookmark sharing services, I kind of group those together with news aggregator sites because there's the fine line and some of them cross over. These two types of sites, bookmark sharing services and news aggregators, are the most incredible, first time ever way to reach huge numbers of people that are still niche targeted to what you're discussing. There's never been a marketing tool like this, and I can't say enough about them. Okay, so a bookmark sharing service, in layman's terms, when you used to take a physical bookmark and put it on a page in a magazine because you wanted to show that magazine to your friend and call out that page. This is what a bookmark sharing service does online. You're calling out a particular page that you found that you think will be of interest to your friend, or in the world of bookmark sharing sites, to everybody that's on that bookmark sharing site that has ever expressed any interest in, i.e., gardening. So once you post your bookmark and you make it public, which usually it is by default, once you do that, anybody who is subscribed and registered, or anybody who's registered on that site, will be given your information on gardening. So to give you an example, Google Bookmarks, which is no longer in existence, but obviously the number one bookmarking site, they have 161.4 million users. Of those 161.4 million users, when you signed up for Google Bookmarks, or when you signed up even for your Gmail account, it would ask you what your interests are. And then it will deliver that information in a variety of ways that you choose. It could be on your homepage when you go online. It could be via an email that they send you for topics of interest. It could be on your login page. Now, more important, almost more importantly than the 161.4 million users, is the fact that Google Bookmarks had 310,314 sites that would crawl Google Bookmarks every night, perhaps at midnight, with their robots, and they would pick up all the bookmarks that everybody put up there for that day for, i.e., gardening. And then they would take those stories, they'll put them on their sites, and they'll disseminate the information again for you.
Fantastic. So as you mentioned, Google Bookmarks is no longer available, but what are some other bookmarking sites that our listeners could use?
Digg, Reddit, Squeedo, Mr. Wong, which is actually a paid site now. You can easily find many lists of bookmark sharing sites by just typing into Google, list of bookmark sharing sites.
Fantastic.
And you'll get hundreds of them, more than hundreds.
Wonderful. And how many of those do you recommend that business participate in?
You need to be consistent when you're doing this, because one of the benefits you'll reap from these bookmark sharing sites and news aggregators, which we'll get into in a second, is that they double as search engine optimization for you. So if they're a very high-ranked bookmark sharing site, they're going to wind up on the front page of Google. And then everybody that posts on top of you, you're going to be pushed off the page. So you need to really have a consistent effort, and if it means having to hire your nephew to do it for you, or a marketing firm, because you're very busy and you can't do this on a regular basis, then you should do that, because every business needs to be able to be found on Google in a variety of search queries.
I think that's so important. And this is actually a service that my company, Three Girls Media and Marketing, provides. And if you'd like to find out more about Three Girls Media and Marketing, you can do that very easily by going to threegirlsmedia.com. That's threegirlsmedia.com. So, Gail, you also mentioned news aggregator sites, sort of in the same vein as bookmark sharing services. How are bookmark sharing services different than news aggregator sites?
Bookmark sharing services are more one-on-one, person-to-person, whereas the news aggregator sites, the way I explain a news aggregator site is when I worked at Billboard Magazine back in the 80s, if you were standing in the Xerox room, there was a teletype machine, and it would be spitting out paper, and on that paper were stories and photographs that if you paid to be a member of the UPI Newswire, then this machine would be in your office, and it would spit out all this information that was free for you to use on the radio or in your magazine. The news aggregator sites are the new-fangled Internet UPI Newswires.
Awesome. And how does somebody go about finding those news aggregator sites online?
Again, you can type into Google a list of news aggregator websites. They're mostly news sites, like Newsvine or BlogHer, which is a big one, or something like iVillage, which is owned by NBC, which is the largest women's site out there, they double as a forum, a bookmark sharing site, and a news aggregator, in my opinion.
Terrific. We are speaking with Gail Rosenberg, who's with Web and Retail. You can find her at webandretail.net. That's webandretail.net. And when we come back from the break, we're going to be talking about online press distribution services and if you have options out there that are free or if you have to pay for them. That's coming up next on Punch Media and Marketing Made Easy on 1220 AM KDOW. I'm your host, Erica Taylor Montgomery, and we'll be right back after the break.